Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Everyone across the world, welcome back to Keeny's Tea of the Day with a splash of author, bookseller, blogger, mm, and my bestie, Mrs. Vanessa Concepcion, back on my channel again, blessing us with another book, another one.
Thank you very much. I'm glad back to be back here.
So tell us why you back here. What is this new book?
I made a second book for the adults because the first book was obviously for the children. I dedicated it to my children, and I wanted the adults to get a look of what I can do as well.
I love to hear it. And the book is called The Ride Home. We've all taken a ride home before. We all have different stories about a ride home. But what was this ride home? Like, what drove you to write this book? What drove you to get back into that chair, that room, that corner, and just start writing?
Well, I obviously knew the concept I was trying to get, which was a role where it would keep the adults very interested, and it wasn't just about drama. It was about feelings, about getting deep into what our conscious doesn't want to realize,
Mm. Can you say
and
that again?
our conscious doesn't want to realize.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to dig deep into that and make it into a story and see what the adults thought about it.
And what have the raves been in the streets? Because the streets have been talking, child. Ooh. The
Um,
book has really been amazing. Like, it's been extremely well written, well thought out. It was just the imagery and the story for me.
I mean, I loved it when I was writing it, and I realized like I wanted, when you read a chapter and you're like, I want to know what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that with my own book. While I was reading it and writing it, I was like, I need to know what happens next. I need to make this, me want to read the next chapter and to the end.
1,000%. I love when writers really dig deep and understand that there's always something else that can be told. There's always something that you can maybe originally leave out or originally, but you know what? I don't know if that's needed. And then you're like, you know what? Nah, I have to go there. It needs to be said. It has to be told. This story has to be told completely. And I'm so happy that this story was told completely. Like, it was the imagery for me.
Yeah, I definitely felt it, and I definitely wanted to, the readers to feel it too. I wanted the emotions to be as raw as possible, but also to have meaning towards the end of the book, and I think I did that.
You absolutely did. So can you tell us, can you introduce us to the characters of this book? So we can really get a deep dive of what the characters mean to you.
Um, I had two main characters, which is the mother and the daughter, and I mean, it was a typical book of how close a family could be and how other neighbors or people
Mm-hmm.
see you like they think everything is peachy key and they don't really know the story of it. But in this book, it was more of everybody knew everything and they wanted to put their foot in where to try to help. But the mother wasn't ready to face that help, so I think that's what we are trying to figure out. Like there are a lot of people who lose somebody or
Mm-hmm.
deal with something and they're not ready to be helped into to reach rock bottom. I think.
Mm. Did y'all hear that, people? A lot of people out there is not ready to be helped through the trauma, through the pain, through the grief. And grief comes in tons of forms. And within this mother-daughter duo and um, the untimely passing of the daughter and her still reliving this throughout the book, and then having similarities with the person that's on the case, and seeing her go through this and just reliving it was healthy, but then unhealthy for her. Because then she came to a conclusion like, oh, I haven't really grieved. And
Not many people do.
1,000%. But why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so hard, especially as adults, to really just sit in our feelings and grieve, allow ourselves and give ourselves that grace to say, you know what, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to actually deal with the scenario and the situation that is not my fault, but I'm in because I've lost someone.
I think adults, 90%, even though we're adults, we still in denial as children. So we didn't see it happen right in front of us, and um, we want to feel it, but we feel that if we feel it, that it's truly there and it truly happened. And some people are just in denial, where they're not ready to feel it, and and they don't feel safe enough to let it go.
It's our safe space for me.
Mhm.
We have to always have that safe space within ourselves, within our community, within our circle, within our village. And thank God Mary had that village. She found our village. And the ending was just so beautiful, where she had that reconnection.
All right, well, we're not going to tell them everything,
No.
are we? No, we're not.
Huh? What are we telling them? I'm just saying, y'all need to read it because it's a beautiful ending. It's gonna really connect everything back together. But what's the thing that we discussed within the book? So we have Mary, who's the mother, and then we have
Stephanie.
Stephanie, who is the daughter.
Correct.
And what's the dynamic? Is this something that you relived, or is this something that you just came off the fly with?
Um, I'm a little old school, so I remember a lot of movies, a lot of Lifetime, a lot of shows, and there's nothing I officially lived on it, but stuff that I remember saying, if they had it in there, would maybe be a little bit better. So I think the writer in me was like, how can I make something tragic better for other people to read and still have a happy ending?
Mm. And we all want a happy ending, but we all don't always get the happy ending that we want. So, with these characters and how just flawed but so elegant that they are, and just so just scrumptious at the end of the day, um, what is next for these characters? Like, do you see these characters in a different book, or do you feel like this chapter is done?
Well, I was actually just going to like do the one book, but a lot of people who have read it
Mm-hmm.
thinks there should be a second book. I'm still on the edge about it. I'm gonna see how this goes, and if it goes well, it might, you never know.
Just in case you didn't know, this is the cover, guys.
And that's in Barnes and Nobles. That's the hard version book. It's small enough to put in any bag,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the soft cover on Amazon for a cheaper price.
On where?
Amazon. And if you look at it, the Amazon version has my picture on it, which I'm excited about.
Talk that talk. Go ahead.
So I think it was time to let you guys know what I look like.
So, what do you see next for this trilogy now? Because you have Fairly Riley Rose.
Hmm.
Ooh, and that book was everything it needed to be. And oh, for the Derby kids who goes to that library, just stop by the adult section, and you will see her book,
Kids section.
the kid section, and you will see her book. So go read it, go check it out, have yourself a wonderful time, cause this is next.
Yeah, I'm working on that next, but there's actually gonna be a second book to the February Riley Rose, so I'm just waiting. Hopefully by early next year we'll be getting that out. So let's read the first book and see how well that goes, and then the next book will be coming out hopefully next year.
Um, Not hopefully, it's coming out next year, guys. So where do you see yourself within writing? So how is this process for you different than your first book? Because we're on book number two, and this is less than a year apart, and that's an amazing for a writer. So first, where did you get the creativity from, and where did you get the passion to continue to go on for the second book?
I knew I always wanted the second book. I always wanted an adult book. Did I know I was gonna do this? I had no clue. Sometimes I just start writing and it leads me to my next story. You know, I never know where I'm gonna actually go. And this led me here, and it and
Hey guys, so we're back. So tell me about that creative process throughout writing this book.
so I had no clue what I was doing at the moment. I just started writing, and the words came flowing out like water, and it was just amazing how quick I actually got it done because it took me longer to finish Fairy Wiley Rose. I think because with Fairy Wiley Rose, the characters were more unique, where the characters in this felt more realistic.
Okay,
So you know, it's sort of like they had their own version um, that I didn't have to do. I just had to tell the story.
I love to hear that. So, what characters are you bringing back to Fairly Riley Rose? Since we just found out an exclusive that we are getting a part two. So, what characters are we bringing back, and what characters maybe new? Did you think of that yet?
Um, yes, I have. Obviously, February Rose is coming back, the main character. Um, everybody was sort of a fan of.
Shout out to Riley.
Everybody was a fan of Fairy Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely coming back, starting trouble. As always, he's always got himself in trouble. So that's nothing expected. Um, Obviously, long-eared Edgar, because you know where would Riley go without her hand, or should I say right ears? And we do have a new character in the first chapter, since I'm still working on the rest, but it would be called Fairy Emily.
Not Fairly Emily.
Fairy Emily.
Amazing.
Yes, I'm very excited about her story, and her story is about letting her voice go.
Letting her voice go or be known.
Both.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Because everyone, especially as a child, you feel like you're so not heard oftentimes, even though you may be, but you just feel that way. And it's amazing when you finally get the courage and you finally just hear your voice for the first time and you actually sit there and like, oh my gosh, I have a voice. And then sometimes, oftentimes, as kids do, they just may not ever not use their voice again, which is an amazing thing.
I think with her, she had a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wanted to show her voice, but she wasn't ready to show it again.
Mm-hmm.
Another aspect of not ready to show who you are, and I think it's because her insecurity got to her. She felt like her voice wasn't good enough, and she just wanted to be out there, but she didn't know how. And the funny thing is, she met a human that helped her as she helped the human with her voice.
That is amazing, 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 guys. So tell us, what was the writing process for this new book?
That's the right home.
The Ride Home. What was the writing process?
The writing process. Do you know how many writers write when it's quiet?
Hmm.
I write when there's chaos.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Um, I think it helps me, my mind flow. It helps me concentrate on the words, which is very interesting because I can't do any of the work in quiet. I can't sit and be in my room and have quiet. I need chaos happening around me for the words to flow.
Okay, okay, okay. So, what inspiration within? I know this was like a figment of your imagination, somewhat, but how did Mary become Mary, and how did Stephanie become Stephanie?
Well, Mary, well, you know, they're typical career women who work really hard to get where they're at, and Mary, you know, was a career woman, and she strived on helping people who needed to be helped. So, you know, Mary was a big deal to other families who were just trying to get what they deserved. And Stephanie was the one when she came home, she got to see and smile, and she didn't have to be somebody's hero. She just had to be somebody's mom. So Stephanie kind of looked up to her that way, not just like a mom, but like a best friend.
A mother, a mother-daughter duo is something that is just so cherished, and it's so beautiful to see.
Hmm.
Honestly, um, so you know how artists usually like within their next project or within their next album or whatever that looks like for that artist, they either take time to not do their art or they start finding different new things to bring to the table. So with this new book, what did you do? When you said, you know what, this it's time for me to get back into writing. It's time for me to put out this next book. So what was that process like?
Well, that process was more like I had another job, as many people these days do, and it was a day where I sat there and I said, I need to settle back a little bit and concentrate on what I was meant to do, and I was writing, and I was started to step down, change the aspect of my career, and really focused on trying to get my book going.
Amen to that. Amen. So,
Well, I actually have a little thing that you don't know about.
mm, what is that?
Um, Hopefully by the ending or before next year, I have a book and it's different and it's coming up hopefully soon and it has many chapters and many stories to talk about. And it's called The Shower Tells and it's discussed about things that happen in the shower that nobody really talks about. And it goes from, you know, humor to depression to obviously adult stuff, and things that you would never think about. And I think it's going to be a very interesting book coming up, and that might be a series.
Oh, that has to be a series. If you're not have Googled into that, it's right on Amazon as well. We definitely like Amazon. Get into those. She's done a few. It's definitely there. And the stories are just so refreshing, so fulfilling. It's spicy. It's like it's so dirty but not dirty. It's just like so many different stories that we've all kind of experienced or dealt with or heard of, whether we experienced it ourselves or not. And it's just so realistic. It's so funny. It's just so real.
Well, that's actually my other stories. The shower tells us the stories that you have yet to read. But the one he's talking about is on Amazon Villa, and those are what you would call erotic stories, I guess. Um, I would suggest that you be 21 and over when you read them, and maybe I think it's more for the parents because it's their diary for parents. If you think about it, take a look, but make sure there's no kids around.
That part. So tell us about your blog. How's your blog doing? Since you're putting your eggs in everywhere. It's
Actually,
books, it's blogs, it's Amazon Villa, books in libraries, books in Barnes and Nobles. Like you're really out here.
if I'm not everywhere, what's the point? Um, as for my blog, it's actually going very well. I'm on almost 30K now.
What?
I am. And
30K. That
yeah,
is a milestone. Congratulations on
thank
that.
you, thank you. I'm, I backed out a little bit on it, but I do give, I still put my stuff up there. So it's like I'm still never just away. I'm just on a break.
So what's your next steps? What's motivating you now for this next book or the next two books that's coming out? What's next for Vanessa?
Well, the next book is obviously the fairy book, and I actually have children I deal with at school, and I'm hoping to make them one of my illustrators. I'm going to make it a contest, so I would like to have children actually show me what they can do.
What made you make that decision of including your children that's in your school that for a contest?
Well, you just can't pick any child as much as you love them. You want to pick those who are really great in art, and actually our school is really well. When it comes to art, they are very creative, and they're going to their contest is the person who can actually draw Fairy Riley Rose the best, and they will be in my book, and you know they will be creating my new characters. So I'm excited about that.
I love to hear it. We're getting a lot of exclusives and a lot of just nuggets. So, what book have you read that inspired you lately?
Um, the Silent Patient. The Silent Patient is, obviously about murder, and everybody trying to figure it out. Um, a lot of people have negativity about the ending, but I was, it could have been better a little bit, but I think it was good. I think you really have to get into the book and really have time to read it to realize about the characters and who it could or could not be. Because automatically in murder, especially in a couple, they look at the other partner. So, you know, the silent partner was being silent for a reason. Or should I say patient? Sorry, silent patient.
Silent Patient. So, who's the author of that book?
Ah, it's funny, I was discussing that the other day and I forgot the name of it. But I'm pretty sure it's out there.
But if you like murder books, go read Fairy Riley Rose. If you like mystery, go read Fairy Riley Rose. Or The Ride Home. I'm telling you guys, this book is really amazing. It really tells a beautiful story. And the conclusion just brings it all together. It really ties it in. So, what is your favorite part of the book?
You would probably find it very interesting. My favorite part of the book is a shower scene. And the shower scene is when you see her mental status and her physical status at the same time. And it's kind of out in the open in the book. So I think that was my favorite part of the book, which is very interesting. And it's not the ending.
Yeah, the shower scene was definitely a little tearjerker. To just see what she's emotionally just going through and just dealing with within the case and then within just her own personal grievances, it was like, wow. Like, I seen her and me at certain times when I was reading it.
Yeah, it's a jerker if you really pay attention to it, and it's I think the interesting part of the book is just the fact that she has yet to grieve and she's dealing with somebody who also lost a child as well, so they're both grieving but in different ways, if you think about it.
And that's just an human analogy. Like, we're all grieving in different ways. And hopefully, with reading this book and just opening your eyes, guys, we all have to grieve. We all need to let go of whatever hurt us. And we have to forgive ourselves for not grieving, for putting ourselves through the pain and the struggle and the detriment to ourselves.
I definitely give it up to all the parents who have lost kids. I have no idea what I would do without my kids and how you guys do it. So I definitely give it to you guys, and I'm hoping that you're taking it one day at a time.
And shout out for the children who lost their parents. It's the same scenario, and oftentimes, I know, like me personally, just dealing with people who have lost their parents. It's definitely a tough scenario, and it's something that you'll live through every day of their life. And I know it's easier said than done to like have you grieved, but I don't think you can ever properly grieve. I don't know.
Well, I lost my mother a long time ago, and it took me a whole year to grieve. I was in denial for a very long time, and I remember it. It just took a moment. I guess it was a moment where I decided I wanted my mom, and as a 10-year-old, in denial, it still comes to you. And it, it broke you down. It just opened the wounds that you thought that wasn't going to be opened. So it does take time and patience, and just hope that you're making your parents or your mother proud.
And I'm sure she is shining her light right on you right now, living in this experience, this moment of your second book being out. And not just Barnes and Noble, not just like it's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, everywhere you can get find a book at this point. And also in your local library in Derby, like you're really doing big things. And now we're getting a part two of Fairy Valley Rose.
And I'm also working on libraries in Long Island. So hopefully that will go well too.
Libraries in Long Island,
Yeah.
y'all coming next, guys. Get ready. Get to those. Get to that children's section. It's gonna be right on the stands coming next year, okay? Um, and then the shower tales, and then your blog, and then the Dear Diaries. It's just endless nuggets and endless talent that you have. It's truly amazing. It's truly a blessing to be part of this, to be interviewing you today.
I appreciate you taking the time out, with your busy schedule. And I hope to see you guys again for my next book.
Give our listeners a few last words. But before that, you have to read a chapter. You have to read a part of the book. Like that just has to happen.
Okay.
And I think I got the perfect page.
Do you? Because it looks
I
close.
think I do.
Okay.
So guys, we're going to go on to 71 for the people who have the book, and she's gonna read.
Do you know where? Do you want?
Let's start right there.
It's an interesting part you chose.
I, Everybody spoke to me. Like I was like deep diving and trying to figure out what part I really wanted her to digest and just really read, and I felt like 71 was it.
Or this is obviously in the middle of the action because there is a little action in the book. So I'm gonna start, I guess. Rose is on the phone outside the house talking with a detective she's well acquainted with. How far this has gone? Rose asks on the phone. Further than it would have. We have to keep this circle as small as possible because too many hands are in this, and well, these hands are very dirty. Whoever this woman is, I hope it's worth your drama you're about to cause.
Hmm. So how did you come up with that?
Well, obviously there's always drama, and in this movie, it is based on some policemen and some dirty ones, and there's always a mayor or somebody involved in it, and a lot of people are scared to dip their toe in the heat. And well, in this part, it's more like, are you sure you want to dip your toe in, or do you just want to walk away? But Mary doesn't do that. She's dipping her whole body in, and
10
that's
toes
really,
down.
so that's where the drama is gonna go.
Guys, y'all gotta read on now. We thought y'all was gonna give it the whole book. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
So, let's get some nuggets from just some final closing words for our listeners and for future writers that's out there that's listening.
Well, I'm actually going to talk about the younger crowd. I met a lot of kids, since my new career, and there are a lot of kids who really starting earlier than I did. I started seventh grade. These are sixth graders, and they're already starting to write, and they want to show me, and they think nobody wants to listen or read, and I'm definitely giving them the attention, and I'm just saying, don't give up on what you believe you can write, despite of what anybody else thinks. So just keep it going, and you'll wind up like me one day, maybe more successful, maybe not.
And those was words from the author and the writer. The Ride Home Guys and Fairy Riley Rose. Dear Diaries on Amazon Villa. And also, Shower Tales coming soon. I cannot wait, guys. Like, this is just the amount and the mass of talent this woman possesses. When she really gets in her bag, when she really gets in, like,
My Mary Poppins bag.
hello, shoot. Um, I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to read what's next. I can't wait to get some snippets, and then have to wait just like y'all for the whole final stuff. I cannot wait for the next installments coming soon, guys. Later, this was King's Tea of the Day, and you was back with another one, another live interview. We out.
Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
Do you have? Let's switch it up before we leave. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I'm waiting for your personal tea of the day. I think the readers, the bloggers, everybody who could be watching this at the moment wants to know what your tea of the day
Well, my tea of the day today is a martini,
is.
but ideally today has been a whirlwind of emotions. Um, as much as I love being on the mic, as much as I love being and talking to people and doing this podcast. As you heard before, it can be draining sometimes, and not draining in terms of like the footwork. It's draining because of the emotion. It's draining because it's something that you put so much into, and you just want it to be right. You want it to hit and reach as many people as it does. And then sometimes, unfortunately, with social media and with just different things and just being in your head, you oftentimes look at the numbers, and the numbers does not dictate what you put out, what kind of work you put out, what effort you put,
Content.
and the content of it. And I'm realizing as I'm getting older, because I've been doing it for almost 3, 4 years now,
I know
something
it's
like that.
amazing.
And it's literally a blessing to have this voice that I know that changes at least one person. And that's what I'm here for. To have these type of conversations, to have these interviews, and to really give knowledge and then receive knowledge. And if you can't do those two things, we can work on that.
Yeah, I think that's what I do with my blog. I never thought I'd have so many viewers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just do it to let them know there's a voice who understands them, despite of how many views are on there. So you just keep doing you.
The voice for the voiceless. Um, let's end it off like this. My last episode was 8 dimensions of wellness. What were those dimensions? What dimensions did you feel you needed to work on?
Shoot, I need to work on a lot of dimensions. What are you talking? Oh God, I there's so many dimensions. It's like I just my emotional status is just like a whole dimension in general. Um, I'm not good with my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do do I want to get better? I'm trying to get better. I think I am. I'm not one to. I guess that's why I write because I don't like talking about my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one I have to work on, and I think you have to too, as I'm really realizing it
Honestly, I'm very expressional, whether it's words or like.
with other problems, not yourself.
Hmm.
And there goes the tea of the day.
Um, but for real, guys, before we leave, just be yourself, hone your craft, whatever that craft is. If you have a voice for the voiceless, and completely be yourself. Be open, be honest, be open to criticism, and loving yourself and give yourself grace every day. Because it is hard to get out there, to do something whether you love it or not. It is hard to just get up, out, out the bed sometimes. It's hard to adult when life hits you several times.
Mm.
But you got this. I know you got this because I said you got this. But I just need you to believe it. Confidence comes within, And the more confident you become, the more you can honestly do. And I'm a living testament of that. I went from zero confidence to you can't tell me a motherfucking thing. Because honestly, like, I give what I give. That's why I give the tea, and that's why she gives the coffee. I make sure you're nice and warm and nice and hot every day. Have you drunk your coffee today?
I drank 2 cups.
And we just had a martini, so we're out. Thank you again for listening to this interview. Thank you for loving on Kimi's Tea of the Day. And thank you for loving on my bestie with her books and her next chapters and installments. Stay tuned, guys. We're out.